A broken down gate post suddenly appears in Koji's headlights like a ghost rising from the darkness. It looks like this is the final step. He rolls up to the gate and turns off the engine, giving himself to the silence of the forest. His phone starts ringing almost immediately. He doesn't need to check who it's from. I'm here. Yeah, I heard you. Welcome to my new home. Fuminori is nearby, close enough to hear the sound of the engine. A shiver of excitement shoots up Koji's spine. Come inside, Yo's waiting. Fuminori hangs up without another word. After grabbing his new flashlight from the glove compartment and checking that the revolver is still in his pocket, Koji opens the door and gets out of the car. He holds the light before him in his left hand with his finger poised on the switch. In his right hand, he raises the revolver, keeping it pointed in the same direction. Now ready to fire when he turns on the light, Koji steps quietly into the dark ruin. It takes a while for his eyes to adjust, but even when they do, he has only moonlight streaming through empty windows to guide him. Everything appears gray and indistinct. However, Fuminori has to deal with the same conditions if he's hiding here. This is a battle of nerves, exhausting and deadly, where the first to make a sound and give away his position will lose. The room on both sides of the hallway are all open. Some are even missing their doors. Koji creeps up to each entrance, checks to make sure no one is inside, then carefully proceeds on. The stink that he noticed in the garden has changed. Now it smells more organic, like rotting meat. It's the exact same smell that filled Fuminori's house. Squish. Oh shit. Koji freezes and stares down the hall. It was a wet sound that he heard just now, like someone dragging their feet through a swamp, and it came from the room at the end of the hall. Something is there, something alive. Koji creeps toward the sound. His light and gun are at the ready. Oh, it's Yo. Squish, squish. Now it sounds like someone squeezing mud through their fingers. And as he gets closer, Koji begins to hear breathing. Could it be Fuminori? No, that's impossible. He should be waiting for a chance to ambush Koji, not making careless noise. As he proceeds, the strange sound coming through the cracks in the concrete walls grows clearer. Before he knows it, he is standing on the threshold. The room is filled with a thick, vicious darkness, just like every other room that he's passed. There is more than just darkness, however. Something is there. He can hear pained breathing like that of a wounded animal, and what sounds like sobbing. Sobbing? Who's there? Koji whispers into the darkness. Now that he's given away his position, he might as well turn on his light. For some reason, however, Koji feels that to do so would have disastrous consequences. The last time I heard her voice on the phone, she was sobbing. The wheezing suddenly stops. And then...
Koji.
A whisper comes out of the darkness. Though not a human voice, not by any measure, it speaks some blasphemous, some semblance of human words. A nightmarish flash of insight connects the dots in Koji's mind. Tsukuba? It can't be. Yo doesn't sound like this. She doesn't smell like this.
Please, Koji, kill me.
But if it's not Yo, then how does it know his name? Why is it begging for him for help? No, it can't be Yo. She's human. Not some creature that slithers and hides in the shadows.
It hurts. This body always hurts. Save me, Koji.
The thing wiggles closer. His reason cries out, imploring him to switch the light on before it's too late, or turn and run if he cannot. Oh no. But Koji is unable to make either choice. He can only call out in vain to Amphimor's shape in the darkness. Is it you, Tsukuba? Is it really you?
Let me die. No, more please. Kill me.
Something soft and slimy slides over Koji's toes. Instinct overrides his will, forcing him to turn on his light and shine it at his feet. Oh. The white beam reveals everything. The merciless truth that finally shatters Koji's sanity. Terror wipes his mind of all but two words. Gun and trigger. His finger responds with instinct obedience. There is an explosion of light and sound, both more intense than he anticipated. And then the destructive forces are swallowed up by the darkness. His ears are still ringing from the bang, but he hears a weak voice coming from the shadows.
It hurts!
Koji screams and pulls the trigger again and again, certain that the salvation can come only from the barrel of his gun. Light and darkness, explosion and silence. They dance before him 3 more times. Koji doesn't even need to aim. The horrible creature is right at his feet, far too close to miss. Raiko warned him how many bullets were left in the gun, but that information has already been driven from his mind. Even after the cold, heavy gloom wraps itself around him once more, Koji keeps pulling the trigger like a man possessed, paying no heed to the clicking of the empty gaunt weapon. His panic-stricken legs suddenly give out, sending him down hard on his backside. Even then, he keeps firing the empty gun. He knows no other way to erase the memory of the thing that he glimpsed in the beam of his flashlight. The light which fell from his hand during the attack is now pointing in a different direction. And though all 4 bullets must have hit their target, they were Koji's last card to play, which leaves him alone in the darkness with no way to defend himself. And just as he realizes this, a mass of rotting flesh rolls over him like a tidal wave. Oh shit.
It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts!
That's Yo. He can no longer even scream as the thing pushes him on his back. With fear seizing his throat in an iron grip, Koji struggles desperately against the monster as it crawls up his body toward his face. Curving his face with his left hand, he scrambles wildly along the floor with his right, searching for a way out that doesn't exist. His mind is that of a feral animal, empty of everything but primal terror. And that is why when his right hand closes around something hard and at the last moment, he recognizes it instinctively as a weapon. Putting every ounce of strength into his arm, Koji swings the heavy object at the creature on top of him. He hears the thud of a blunt object striking something soft and wet, and then Koji's attacker rolls off of him. As soon as he's able to move again, Koji leaps to his feet and grabs the new weapon with both hands, brandishing it like a charm to ward off evil. Only now does he realize that he's holding a rusty steel pipe. The monster is still sobbing. Ah! With a cry that is part scream but part roar, Koji raises the steel pipe and brings it crashing down the cowering creature. He hears a wet sound and feels the blood-chilling sensation of its thick, soft flesh absorbing the blow. These combine to evoke an instinctive loathing that wipes his mind of all but the urge to destroy. Die! Die! Consumed by the same desperation with which he kept firing the empty gun, Koji rains blow after blow down on his enemy. After the 10th blow, it stops sobbing. After the 20th blow, it stops moving. And after the 30th blow, it begins to feel and sound more and more like he's beating a puddle of vicious liquid. Damn, he just killed Yo. Well, then again, she was already pretty much dead. It's so sad. Koji doesn't stop thrashing the creature until he recovers enough of his senses to realize that whatever it might have been before, it is now nothing but a corpse. The pipe in his hand, covered with the unidentifiable fluids and filth, suddenly feels unbearably heavy. 20 years of memories in the light of the sun. If they were indeed precious to him, then he should never have come to this place. The black flames of despair rise within him, consuming fear and revulsion and pity. Only rage and hate remain. Every cell in his body cries out for vengeance. for the blood of the man who poisoned him with the truth and tore him from the room of innocence. And then Koji, slave to hate, hears the sound of someone sneaking up behind him. Koji whirls and swings his pipe with all of the force he can muster. His enemy hastily leaps back to avoid the strike. Surprised by his failure to catch Koji off guard, twisted shadows dance in the beam of the light on the floor. Readying his pipe for the next blow, Koji faces off against his second attacker, Sakisuka Fuminori. Before this moment, Koji could never have imagined that he would ever speak his friend's name with such hatred. Hey, that was a pretty heavy swing just now. You're trying to kill me, or are you trying to kill me or something? Even now, Fuminori is smiling, as though the huge axe in his hands is just a sick joke. Damn, Koji, I thought you'd hesitate. You thought I'd hesitate? Against you? Koji sneers too, unable to contain his contempt for the notion. How did you kill Omi? You piece of shit? What did you do to Tsukuba? After this, you expect me to think twice about killing you? That's my line, Koji. Fuminori growls, looking sadly at the pile of dead flesh at Koji's feet. How could you do such a horrible thing to Yo? I'll make sure you suffer before I kill you. Oh shit. Here's the battle. The blade of Fuminori's axe carves a murderous arc through the darkness, glittering menacingly in the faint light coming from the floor. Koji raises his pipe to block the ferocious swing, but the heavy impact numbs his arms. But his large frame takes the blow without giving any ground. Fuminori presses the attack, delivering a second blow and a third. His axe designs for chopping down trees. It's deadlier and more durable than the piece of pipe Koji found discarded on the floor. Each strike Koji blocks sends chunks of rust flying from his makeshift weapon. He can't win as long as he's on the defensive. He needs to create an opportunity to attack. Bastard! Koji blocks a crushing downward swing, then pushes back hard before Fuminori can pull away, throwing him off balance. Fuminori stumbles backward, then plants his feet to steady himself. Taking advantage of his opponent's temporary immobility, Koji delivers a punishing kick to Fuminori's outer thigh. Gah! Fuminori grunts and retreats, swinging his axe wildly to prevent Koji from following up with another attack. Koji, however, does not press his advantage. He just stands where he is, calmly spearing Fuminori with his stare. You've never been in a fight, have you? Fuminori roars and comes in for another attack, but the damage to his right leg seems to be slowing his swing. Easily blocking the axe with his pipe, Koji waits for Fuminori to exhaust himself. Die! Die! Fuminori delivers blow after heavy blow, howling savagely all the while. What he does not realize, however, is that the situation now favors composure, not brute force. When Fuminori raises his axe high for yet another attack, Koji sees that his movements have grown dull enough. Seizing the opportunity, Koji charges it into Fuminori's range and grabs the hilt of the axe with his left hand. As Fuminori recoils in fear, Koji swings his pipe hard at his enemy's unprotected side. He feels the crunch of ribs breaking. Gah! The pain drives Fuminori to his knees, staring down at Fuminori's defenseless head. Koji, surprised by his own lack of emotion, raises his pipe high to deliver the finishing blow, which is when something wraps itself around his left ankle. What? The instant Koji panics at the unexpected situation, something soft yet strong winds itself around the right leg and drags him to the floor before he can resist. He twists his body and tries to swing the pipe at the unseen enemy behind him, but his right hand, too, is seized by the same flexible force. He wasn't able to feel it through his pants, but now his blood turns to ice at the cold, slimy sensation of the sting wrapped around his uncovered wrist. The monster's still alive? That's it, Seiya, Fuminori says encouragingly, even while kneeling on the floor. His face twisted in pain, he manages a terrible, victorious grin. Seiya. This monster is Seiya? Koji struggles desperately to free his limbs from the creature's slimy grip. But more tentacles swarm over his body, stealing his freedom of movement. Ah! The horror has already driven Koji half mad. Just imagining the creature's appearance is enough to send him into a mindless panic. His scream is suddenly cut off as a slimy appendage seizes his throat. This most deadly tentacle isn't just cutting off his windpipe, it's trying to snap his neck, and it's getting tighter. Oh. Because I'm preoccupied with my own selfish wants, I'm slow to realize that something is wrong. Seiya isn't resting. She's trembling in agony. Is she going through her evolution state? My blood goes cold, and the pain from my broken rib is suddenly forgotten. Seiya! I jump up and run to her side and cradle her fallen body in my arms. Her face is pale and drenched in sweat, and her half-closed eyelids and lips are shivering like she has a fever. What's going on? Was she wounded in the fight? Could the meat she had ate been poisoned somehow? I don't understand. All I know is that something terrible is happening. Seiya! Seiya! The only thing I can do is call her name with all of my strength. Seiya slowly opens her eyes and gazes vacantly into my face. Sorry, Fuminori. I'm fine, really. It just hurts a little. What's wrong? What is it? Come on, Seiya! There's no way she's fine. It's glaringly obvious that her condition is dire. Even so, I'm the only one who's panicking. Seiya's expression is serene, as though she understands everything that is happening to her. She even smiles softly up at me. I can't believe it. I never thought it would come so soon. I might lose Seiya. The thought is unbearable. Terror and despair are quickly overwhelming me. I feel a feeling of utter helplessness that I cannot resist. Don't be afraid. Remember what I said? This is the sign. This is our only hope. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Stay with me, Seiya. Seiya answers my tearful entreaty with a smile like that of a mother comforting her child. I did it. I decided to do my best. After all, you said you loved me. You said that I was pretty. Stop this. Whatever is happening, I can't just sit by and watch as it causes Seiya such agony. Please, whatever you're trying to do, I don't want to see you suffer. Don't be like that. Seiya chides me. Please understand. In a soft voice, she reveals her secret. They're going to be born. Our children. What? Wow, okay. For a moment, my mind goes completely blank. What? But when did you... I'm surprised too, for Minori. Seiya's labored breathing speaks to the terrible pain her tiny body is suffering. Even so, she wraps her arms tightly around my neck. Take me outside, to an open place, under the sky. I nod. What else can I do? If I speak, I'm afraid that I'll be unable to hold back my tears. I mustn't cry, not when Seiya is facing her torment so bravely. It feels like Seiya is burning up in my arms, and I fear that the terrible convulsion that shoot through her at intervals will tear her frail body to pieces. Praying for her safety, I scoop Seiya up and carry her swiftly out of the ruined building. Maybe the cold night air will soothe her fever, but that hope is futile. Her cruelly dashed as her breathing grows shallow and her moans through her bluish lips. Seiya, we're outside. In response to my call, she opens her eyes once more. Her gaze is cloudy and unfocused. She can no longer see. Nevertheless, Seiya looks at me. I can tell that she is imagining my expression where my face should be. Just as I promised, this is my final present. I know. I hope you'll like it. Of course I will. It takes every ounce of my willpower, but I manage to make my voice slight and cheerful. In Seiya's mind's eye, I know that I am smiling. Say she won't have to see my face streaked with tears. From Nori, to you who loved me, I give this planet. Seiya whispers as weak and pained, but there is ecstasy in her voice, ecstasy and joy. Her back suddenly shifts, then bulges outward. This world will be beautiful, she whispers in exultation. A world just for us. What the what? And then Seiya blooms. How else can I describe it? Flower petals, long and wide, spread from her back like wings for a newly formed butterfly. Their brilliant glow comes from the countless tiny scales that cover each petal like particles of light. Is this goodbye? I ask her, careful to keep the sorrow out of my voice. No, not goodbye. This is the beginning. Seiya's pain must already have left her, for her expression is infinitely peaceful and content. The beginning of our world. The radiant motes rise on the wind, painting rivers of lights in the frozen winter sky. It is beautiful, overwhelmingly, painfully beautiful. Singing victoriously of their freedom, the shiny seeds of life are released into these vast and fertile land. Wait, so these are children? Like, she's like, this is like a flower, pollen from a flower, I guess, huh? Their song heralds the coming of the new world and the destruction of the old. It is a boundless healing. It is an eternal blessing. We shall fill the world with our joy. Now we'll be together forever, won't we? Embracing Seiya's painfully shrunken body, I gaze into the shining sky and let my tears flow freely. Thank you. Thank you for this final gift, Seiya. What? Oh, this oh, this is Ryoko, huh? She was worried at first how long the preserved foods in the underground storeroom would last her, but now it seems that her fears were unfounded. It's the liquor she should have worried about. By savoring each drop of spiritus as though it were her last, she thought that she could make her flask hold a little longer. But she must have been consuming more each day than she realized. Who can blame her? There is no way that she could have gotten through this without the intoxicating effects of distilled alcohol. After Ryoko chased useless emotions like hope and despair from her mind, she found herself spending the most peaceful days of her life. As resignation set in, and even hate and fear left her, now she feels only awe for that of what Ogai Moshihiko did in respect for the death of his intellectual curiosity. After all, neither she nor this world has any reason left to deny his research. What is going on? Alone in the mountain cabin, Ryoko killed time by bringing order to the documents that Ogai had left behind. She took the scattered, enciphered papers and rewrote them in a more readable fashion, eliminating redundancies and adding indexes and table content. Ryoko did not intend of anyone to read them, of course. She knew full well how meaningless her actions were. With her reason to live gone, however, having something to devote her mind to was at least some relief. And now, as the last congelatory drops the spiritus vodka burn their way down Ryoko's throat, all of Ogai's research lies before her in a single volume. She has finally finished transcribing and annotating the last of his writings. Enjoying the satisfaction of a pointless job well done, she idly pages through the manuscript that she just completed. I shall conclude by summarizing my theory as it currently stands. The life form that I named Seiya did not appear in our universe by chance, nor even as a result of my summoning, but because of the instincts that were programmed directly into her biology. Huh. So he summoned her here? She was created to fulfill the same ultimate purpose that all life shares: reproduction. Seiya and her kind procreate by spreading their seeds to other dimensions. Oh, so she is from another dimension. I knew it. What is this? What is the probability that they will discover a doorway to another world? Even if they succeed in doing so, the chance of that world being suitable for reproduction must be even more minute. Huh. In order to make the most of that skank probability, evolution has granted them a certain advantage. None other than the astonishing ability that I have witnessed in Seiya. To wit, they select the most prosperous life form that they encounter, take control of it, and in doing so gain dominance over that planet's biosphere. In other words, they hijack the entire species. Oh no. Okay, well, Seiya, I feel like Seiya should have died then. Oh, this is bad. They do this by analyzing their target's genome, then overriding its genetic code to remake it in their own image. Seiya's biology is more than capable of inducing such dramatic and widespread mutation. There is a significant probability that the target species will have evolved into intelligent life. This element may be necessary to gaining control of a planet's environment. So this has already happened to other planets. Therefore, Seiya and her sisters also plunder their target's culture and psychology. Her extraordinary learning ability and intellectual curiosity are likely instinctive tools that enable her to inherit their target species' entire wealth of knowledge. Huh. Okay. In fact, it may be that Seiya's kind has always had its sights set on intelligent life. Perhaps they wait patiently for some foolish extra-dimensional species to gain knowledge of other worlds and, in attempting to satisfy its curiosity, make contact with the outer universe in which they dwell. Rather than send Seiya and her kin on their dimensional journeys with only luck and their own strength to depend on, would not waiting for such contact greatly increase the chance of finding a world worthy of conquest? Just as I, having acquired the Silver Key, financed myself an explorer of the unknown, how many intelligent life forms on other worlds have thoughtlessly congratulated themselves for discovering Seiya's sisters? Taken by the sudden urge to go outside for a change, Ryoko gathers up the manuscripts and heads to her car, which is parked in the front yard. She has completed her self-imposed final duty. There is no longer any reason for her to remain holed up in the mountain cabin. Oh. She drives a little farther up the mountain and to an open place that offers a scenic view of the land below. In the early days of the change, Ryoko often came to this spot to watch helplessly over the mutating city. What? The one flaw in my theory comes from none other than Seiya herself. After using me to learn everything she could about humanity, Seiya should finally have been prepared to begin the last stage of her invasion. However, she never carried out her mission. Why? I hypothesize that Seiya was an irregular among her kind. It is said that the human race's intelligence has allowed us to conquer our natural instincts. Perhaps in absorbing the human psyche, Seiya accidentally inherited the disease that infects our entire species. What is human love, really? What behavior could be more of a hindrance than to the efficient propagation of a species? I'm reminded of how, at the end of her studies, Seiya consumed vast quantities of romantic literature from all over the world. She tried to understand romance as an integral part of the human reproductive process. As a result, she might have unwittingly nurtured her own unparalleled reproductive abilities. After all, she had not known love. She had come to this world to rule in our place, and had studied humanity to fulfill that purpose, but ultimately, she could not share love with the human. Without love's blessing, Seiya was unable to find the passion to fill this world with her kind. and learning all that there was to know about humanity, she herself had become helplessly human. Weary of loneliness, she despaired of the world. How pure her maiden soul must have been. If this hypothesis is correct, then it means that I have failed as her teacher. I cannot help but feel ashamed for having spoiled such an extraordinary organism. Seiya. Next to Ogai Moshihiko, Rauko now knows about the entity than anyone else. No, when the young man named Sakisuka Fuminori is added to the running, perhaps she only comes in third. In the end, she never encountered the creature face to face. She would like to have met it once, though. If Ogai's analysis of Seiya's psychology is correct, then it must have been Sakisuka who restored her desire to conquer the world. Perhaps as Sakisuka's chief physician, Rauko played some role in bringing that lonely young man and Seiya together, in which case she should at least have had the right to attend their wedding to end all weddings. Oh shit. She might even have charged them a matchmaker's fee. Oh wow. I have a dream that one day my daughter will know the blessings of love. I pray that there will come a day where her heart burns with the flames of passion and her world becomes bright and joyous once more. That day is today. When that day comes, Seiya, your terrible, irresistible purpose will surely consume us. That your progeny may flourish. The whole world will know your love and be reborn. That wonders the future holds. What wonders the future holds. I deeply regret that I must end my life before I can see that day come. But the footsteps of those who would destroy my dream grow closer by the hour. If I seal my lips in death, then their grasping hands will not reach you. Oh, that's what he did. Please forgive me, my daughter, for leaving you alone in this barren world. With the knowledge that you now possess, I know that you will find your own path. The remnants of your hard-worn soul shall light the road ahead. Have no fear, have no doubts. March onward until you reach your answer at last. I, Seiya, will dream forever of the world that you will create. Well, she's creating it today. Perhaps it is the isolated environment or the mountain air. Maybe she's just more resistant to the change. Whatever the case, Rauko has not yet become as inhuman as the creatures wiggling through the city below. She does not know exactly how many people on this planet could still be called human, but she's one of what must be only a handful of survivors who are left to watch over the end of mankind. Of course, it's only a matter of time before she changes too. It has been 3 days since she chopped off her right hand, which had ceased the function of anything resembling a human hand. But the itching that has spread across her entire back is growing more intolerable by the hour. Oh, so yeah, it's already been some time, huh? She could look in a mirror to see what she is becoming, but she doubts that it would make her happy. Rauko thinks that it would be best just to go to sleep here, with the world spread out before her. When she awakens, perhaps she will be ready to descend the mountain and join in the city's rivalries. Or maybe she won't even need such a resolve anymore. Whatever the case, Rauko thinks dreamingly as she licks the every last drop from her flask. The very last drop of her flask. Even after I stop being human, I hope I still enjoy the taste of booze. Wow. That's the end, huh? Alright. Alright. Alright guys, so that's the end of that. Man, this game was very interesting. Very deeply messed up, you know, with its whole sexual assaults and everything. But other than that, and it was a pretty good game. I gotta give it credit. It was pretty good. Interesting story. I'm not sure if that was a good ending. I want to say that was a good ending for Seiya and for Minori, but not a good ending for humanity. The good ending for humanity would probably be him calling Ryoko and then she shows up to save from to save Koji, and then Fuminori and Seiya die. So that yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this series and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought of this video, what you thought of this series, on you know, your guys' opinion on what you thought of this whole story. Other than that, you know, I'll catch you guys in the next game. Peace.